Listen, if you don't like salad, it's probably because you haven't learned how to make the best dressing yet. Because a good salad needs and has to have the essential part of a salad is the dressing. It either makes or breaks it. So I'm going to show you how to make some of my favorite dressings that are so versatile, so easy, so delicious, and you're going to be able to make them so fast. I have so many of my friends that say to me, they come over and I make this colossal salad usually. The number one thing they ask me is, how do I make the salad? I can never buy a dressing that tastes like a homemade dressing. So now you don't have to buy them in a store. You can make it at home, keep it in your fridge for whenever you fancy drizzling it all over a delicious salad that you make. So the first salad I'm going to show you, also how cute is my shirt? From Oranges. I love t-shirts and tops with fruit or vegetables on it. It makes me really happy. So first dressing I'm actually going to show you is called the Green Goddess salad, and let me tell you, it has earned goddess in the name. It is just fresh, vibrant, packed with flavor, so many herbs. Not only are these herbs delicious, they are so good for you. Okay, so for this recipe, we are going to be using all of these divine herbs. That is parsley, mint, basil, and dill. All of them are going to go into this blender. And then I'm adding in some capers, a big dollop of Dijon mustard, some vegan yogurt, a little tiny squeeze of agave because you need a little bit of sweetness, and the juice of 2 lemons. You can put a little bit of mayo in here if you want to make it a little bit richer, but I went for the healthier option with the yogurt. We're going to do a generous glug of olive oil, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and let's blend it up. You know what? I'm going to add a little bit of mayo in there just to give a little zhuzh, but you don't have to add too much in. I'm going to add like a couple of tablespoons. I know I said I wasn't going to add the mayo in, but honestly, it does add a little bit. So I'm just going to add a couple of tablespoons in, or a few squirts. And that, my friends, is it. Green Goddess dressing. So I'm just going to pop it into the jar. Gorgeous. Look how much that made. That's enough for your full week. So that's the first one done. And now let's move on to the second one. And I am going to make a tahini balsamic dressing. Yum. So this next one is a simple tahini balsamic dressing. It is the one that is my go-to whenever I need to whip a dressing up in a really short period of time. It is so simple. I think it's got about 5 ingredients. So first up, throw in some tahini. You honestly don't need much because you're going to add water into this. Tahini is quite thick. You don't want to add too much tahini because you're going to thin it out. I usually do the same balsamic to tahini ratio. So I've got my balsamic in here. I'm going to chuck that in also. A little tiny bit of agave. You can use agave or maple syrup. I'm going to add in some black pepper, a little bit of salt, and then some water, as I mentioned earlier. And honestly, that's it, which is pretty great, isn't it? What, a 3-minute dressing, if that? And then the main part of it is shaking it all up. The shaking or the blending helps to emulsify it all, which means it brings it all together. And that's what we want. The worst thing is when you have a runny dressing, you know? You don't want that. Give it a good old shake. Delish, creamy texture. Banging. And honestly, I did my shopping and I didn't get the best quality balsamic, but that makes a difference. So if you are wanting to go a bit fancy, I recommend getting a really good quality balsamic. You can really taste the difference of it. You can get different flavored balsamics too, which is quite nice. Obviously adjust the salt and pepper as you like. If you fancy a bit more sweetness, add a bit more sweetness in. But really, these are just your bases. And then you've got to go with your intuition when it comes to things like this. What did you fancy having in your dressing? Perfect. So that's another one done. Okay, I know that you have heard about how amazing apple cider vinegar is for you. And so I've made this apple cider vinegar Dijon maple dressing that you can add onto your veggies, your salads, and still get the apple cider vinegar benefit. If you don't know the benefits of apple cider vinegar, been clinically proven to help reduce your blood sugar levels, and ideally, according to Glucose Goddess, who literally changed my dad's life, he was pre-diabetic and then had completely reversed it just by using some of these hacks. One of them was having apple cider vinegar before your meal, but you don't have to have it just neat. You can have it in something like this. As you can tell, I'm Indian, so I have different jars that my mother keeps and my sister keeps for storage. Personally, great. I think it's a great idea. Very sustainable, very eco-friendly and all of that, but it is great. And I also love the different shapes of jars that you get. why buy them when you already have them at home? So for this one, we have our apple cider vinegar, of course. So we're gonna start with that. And then, there are so many different mustards in this world. There's Dijon, English, this wonderful whole grain mustard. I absolutely love this mustard. I think it just adds something, a bit of a crunch to it, So I'm using whole grain, but you can use any mustard you like. And like I said, it's a maple Dijon, so we're gonna use some maple syrup in there. You really need the balance of the sweet and the savory here. And then of course, some olive oil. I cannot tell you the amount of people that have come on my podcast lately and spoken about how important it is to drink good quality olive oil and how amazing it is for your body, whether it's inflammation, whether it's the high antioxidant level that helps with so many things, brain health, heart health, detoxing the body, you name it. Olive oil has it, but you have to get high quality. Forget going on holiday, just make sure you've got some good quality olive oil at home. And they even recommend having 2 to 3 tablespoons a day of high polyphenol olive oil, and apparently on the bottles it says when it has that, so look out for that because it's meant to be incredible. And definitely check out those episodes. Gonna add a bit of salt, pepper. Honestly, I pepper into everything because it helps with digestion with whatever you're eating. And sometimes I'll be like a thin vinaigrette on like just a simple salad, like a simple leafy salad, rather than it being a thicker dressing. Your delicious apple cider vinegar, maple, whole grain mustard dressing. Yum. The next one I want to show you, honestly, it's a bit of a surprise to me that I liked it. I usually always use lemons in dressings, but I ran out of lemons one day and I decided to switch it up to some limes. And oh my gosh, this lime vinaigrette, it is just so flavorful, and I forget how sweet limes are and how much of a difference that makes in a dressing. It honestly is divine. So I'm going to start off again with our fabulous olive oil. Obviously I'm making large quantities of these because I want you guys to be able to just keep them in your fridge and use them as and when you need. And then I'm just going to squeeze in 3 limes. And actually, if you struggle with acidity, they say limes are actually, in Ayurveda, my teacher Divya always used to say limes are way better than lemons, especially if you suffer with indigestion. When you eat something and you usually get acid reflux, then lime have a sweeter effect on the body rather than a sour effect. So if you do notice that with things like lemon, try switch it up to a lime and you might notice a big difference in the way that you digest it. You know what I'm also going to do is use the zest of the limes. If you have a zester, even better. My zest is at my mom's house. As long as your limes are organic and unwaxed, adding in the zest will add such a nice flavor. Ideally do it before you cut them in half, I just forgot. And then you can add whatever herb you want in this. I do cilantro, but if you don't like cilantro, you can add parsley in instead. Both taste really good, but I like the cilantro lime combination. If your limes don't feel juicy enough, warm them a little or roll them on your table. Gets a lot of the juice going and away from the sides, so it helps to take out all the juiciness of the lime. You know what I'm going to say next. A little bit of salt, a pepper, and then I chopped up some fresh cilantro. And then just because you always need a little balance, ideally the balance of all 6 tastes, but at least the balance of sweet and savory. I'm going to also add in 1 small teaspoon of Dijon mustard. You don't have to add this quite in. And then a little squeeze of agave. And you know what to do next. Shake. Oh. Evidently not the right lid. Nevertheless, your delicious lime cilantro vinaigrette is ready. This next one, I want to give you something a little bit different. It's a sesame miso ginger one. And so we're going to start off with a little bit of olive oil because sesame oil can be quite intense. So you don't want to use all sesame oil, but you can do a balance of both. So I'm doing sesame and olive oil in equal parts. I'm going to add in some soy sauce. This is basically a really great Asian dressing. Whenever you want to make an Asian salad or Asian inspired, this is the great one. So for the tartness, I'm going to add in rice vinegar. And I've got all these recipes for you already on my website. You can check them out on there. And I'm adding in miso. Miso has this amazing umami flavor. Umami is always that flavor that you just can't describe really, but it has this richness to it. You can use fresh ginger. I've got some ginger paste ready already, so I'm gonna throw in a little bit of ginger paste. And then of course, some mate du sirape or agave. Tiny bit of salt, but because it's got the soy sauce, you probably don't need much. And if you want to make this creamy, you can add in a little bit of tahini if you really want to, but I don't think it's necessary. This is really nice on like a snap pea salad. Woo! This would be nice on a snap pea salad or like a carrot salad that you do. That is lovely. That's delicious. And that's it. that one's done. This next one is a Caesar dressing, but made way healthier and in my opinion, way better. And it uses hemp seeds. Now hemp seeds are so rich in omega. It's great for your brain health, your heart health, and I feel like they're really underrated and underused. People don't realize that you can blend these up with water and it becomes a rich, creamy dressing, which is lower in saturated fats than a mayonnaise or even using nuts. You can use the full 1 cup of this, or you can mix it up and do half and half of cashews and hemp seeds. Today I'm going to do the half and half just because I find it's a bit better that way and I like it that way. So we're doing about half a cup of the hemp seeds, and I've soaked some nuts over here, some cashews. So I'm going to just chuck them in, and I'm only soak them in hot water for about half an hour. And so it's really nice because this Caesar dressing you can honestly have every single day. A lot of Caesar dressings that you buy are so unhealthy. They have so many saturated, they have mayonnaise and oils and so many different things, and this one just doesn't, and it still feels rich and creamy. Now obviously Caesar has a bit of like a creamy cheesiness to it, so I'm adding in some trusted nutritional yeast, a little mustard. I use Dijon, you can use English, some apple cider vinegar. You might be getting really stressed out the fact that I'm just, you know, throwing things into a jar and not measuring it. But I guarantee you the recipes that I've given you are measured. I've just made these so many times that I can kind of eyeball measurements. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but most of the time it does. Don't get stressed out that I'm just throwing things in. It will work out for you. Some salt, some pepper, and then this is ridiculous. Who's gonna have to clean this up later? Oh, I just swallowed some black pepper. And then we're just gonna add in some water. What's kind of nice about this is it's an oil-free recipe. No oils, just lovely cashews and hemp. And honestly, that is it, mate. We're gonna whiz it up. There you go, all these delicious dressing recipes that you're gonna have to experiment with, and then maybe make some of the salads on my website too, and then you're a pro. And that, my friends, is that. It's as simple as that. We just made, honestly, even filming this, I think I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dressings in under 30 minutes. And that's with me trying to show you guys how to do it. So imagine how fast it'll be for you. Whip some of these up on the weekend so you have no excuse not to have a salad during your weekdays. I guarantee you it's going to make all the difference. If you do make them, tag me. I want to see whether you like them. You can send me some feedback if you try them out, if you love it, if it changed your experience of salad altogether. Let me know. Let me show you them all together. They look like they're having a good old time. Look at these bad boys. Oh my goodness. Get it, get it, get it, get it, get it. Yeah.